down, people. Well, we're still doing this trial on Rittenhouse. I was going to kind of wait this morning, and then I was thinking about doing it live while he's doing it, but it's a lot easier when I can pause it, and the only way I can pause it is if they're ahead of me on the stand. I'm out of breath because I ran up and down the stairs a couple times, been doing a couple things. I was like, shit, let me get up here and do this. It's starting to rain. I got to go cut my grass. But anyway, so I just read a couple comments that said Kyle takes the stand. I'm not sure I would do that. I don't know if I would agree with that. I think those crooked DAs are going to paint him in the most possible negative mean. They are going to attack him. He's young. He's inexperienced. And I don't think he's going to defend himself. And this defense team can't defend your client too much because it makes it look like you're not telling them. So they got to, when you take the stand, you're kind of on your own. And I think he's too young and inexperienced to do that. But that's not this video. That'll probably be next one. I don't know how many. I'm assuming they only have one or two more things. So we're going to do the trial here, but I'll leave the camera in the background. I mean, if you don't like this, then I'll change it. But if you guys like seeing me get pissed off or whatever, then I'll leave it up there. So let's start this day 7 of the Rittenhouse trial. Here we go. For those complaining about my speaker, I ordered a new set of speakers, so hopefully it won't be cracking and loud.
Stand, please. Raise your right hand.
And I could drag this.
Testimony about to give in this matter be the truth.
Man, that's a hell of a beard, dude. That's some big old crazy long ZZ Top looking.
Sir, will you state your name and spell your last name?
My name is Jacob Marshall, JacobMarshall.
And Mr. Marshall, do you know Gage Grosskreutz?
I do.
Would you say that he's a friend of yours?
I would.
And has he been a roommate of yours in the past?
Yes.
Okay. And from what period of time to what period of time were you guys living as roommates?
I want to say maybe 3 months up prior to the incident of, I don't recall exactly that happened, but probably like 3 months prior to that he was living with me up until...
So if I said May of 2020, sound fair?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. And after August 25th, 2020, did you visit your friend Gage Grosskreutz in the hospital?
Yes, I did.
And do you remember when you visited him?
Oh, so this is the dude that took the picture, and we're going to find out if he says Gage really made the statement that he said he never made, that my only regret is I didn't empty my magazine and kill this kid. So we'll see if this guy is honest or not, because I think he said that because he was being cool with his friends. He was being macho. He just got shot. He was on video crying about his arm and losing his arm. So, I mean, I can see him saying that. I don't know if it's true or not that he would really do it, but I can see him saying it. And we're going to see if this guy tells the truth or not. This will be interesting.
I believe the following day after the incident happened that night, I went to see him the next day as soon as I could get a hold of his family and stuff. So yeah.
And when you saw him, did you see him in Milwaukee?
Yes.
And you posed for a picture with him in the hospital in Milwaukee. Is that right?
Sorry, I need to adjust my thing here. It's kind of bugging me for some reason. Hang on. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I'm a one-man show. Here we go.
Objection leading.
Let's go back.
In Milwaukee.
Yes.
And you posed for a picture with him in the hospital in Milwaukee. Is that right?
Objection leading.
We've heard that objection.
I have a feeling he's going to agree and corroborate it because they wouldn't be objecting. They want to make it look like they don't want this in. So obviously they're going to try and pause him or shake up his degree of how he's controlling his volume, his movement, his tempo with the witness. They want to interrupt it.
Quite a bit during the trial, and the suggestiveness is the offensive part of a leading question. And somehow I don't feel, from what we've heard already, that he's going to lead this witness into an answer. So the objection is overruled.
Overruled!
Take a photograph with him.
See, notice it. Did you see the smile on the Weasley DA that loves to pick on people? Let's see if he picks on this bearded dude. Watch the little smile on Mr. DA.
This witness into an answer. So the objection is overruled.
Oh, I'm playing my games with this guy's life. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to get paid. I got my vacation. I got my government job. No big deal. I'm just having fun here. messing up people's lives and ruining lives because I'm such a nice guy. What a freaking weasel. Anyway, I digress. I gotta not focus on him. Let's focus on the trial here.
Take a photograph with him at the hospital in Milwaukee.
Yes, we did.
Did you do you have a Facebook, or did you at the time have a Facebook account?
At the time, yes.
And after you took
At the time, yes, meaning he deleted it since then.
that photograph with Mr. Grosskreutz, did you post that photograph on your Facebook account?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibit number 70 for identification. Mr. Marshall, can you take a look at that? Is that a picture of you and Mr. Grosskreutz?
It is.
Okay, and that's a picture in the hospital that was taken?
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to look to the right of the photograph. There's some, not that familiar with Facebook, but there's an entry that you made with your name and then some writing on it. Is that right?
It appears so, yes.
Okay. Can you put up? So this is the Facebook post we're talking about, and tell me if this is fair. It says, I just talked to Gage Grosskreutz, two. His only regret was not killing the kid and hesitating to pull the gun before emptying the entire mag into it. He said that to you, correct?
No.
He didn't say that to you?
He never said that to me.
Oh my God! Really? Holy cow. Wow. Wow. Man, that's not good.
You just posted that to you, correct?
No.
He didn't say that to you?
He never said that to me.
You just posted something about your friend, your roommate, that was a lie?
I did. Given the circumstances and all the threats I've received on the internet, I've never been put in a position like that. Addresses of ours were posted. You know, my mother was getting inboxed. My sister. It was insane with everything going on at the time. I made a bad remark. I was trying to stick up for my friend at the time who, you know, he didn't know any of this was going on. He didn't see the post or anything.
You're not sticking up for him. You're saying what he said.
No.
Hold on. This post down here should have killed him right then and there. That's you saying that, right?
That is me saying that, yes.
Okay. This post right here is you equating something that Mr. Grosskreutz said to you.
I lied. He never said that. Those words have never came out of his mouth.
I'm going to object, Your Honor. This is asked and answered argumentative.
Ah, see? See how the defense or the prosecution said object, ask, and answer? That's what the defense should have been doing the other day. And you know what? When you get a losing hit like this, a punch in the face, like, shit, why did I put him up here? So obviously they didn't talk to him before and they don't know what his answer is. See, the DA knows what you're going to say because he interviews you. He has his investigator interview you. He knows what you're going to say before you get on the stand. They're not surprised. But the prosecution or the defense over here, when he gave his witness, he just subpoenaed him. He didn't interview him or try to intimidate him like the DA did. So he didn't know what he's going to say. So, I mean, it kind of gives the defense team, a little bit of credibility because they didn't prep him and they didn't know and they're shocked. But even if they knew, they would probably put him up there because it doesn't make sense. And, you know, the defense is going to play this as, you know, when he was on a stand, he said he never said it. And they're going to gain credibility to his testimony with this, unfortunately.
Overruled.
So he never said that. You made it all up.
100% made it all up.
Nothing else. Thank you.
So you got to cut your losses and move on.
Mr. Marshall, after you learned that your roommate had been shot that night, what did you do?
I actually went to Kenosha trying to figure out if he was alive. My sister was one that notified me. She was watching his live stream, and you know.
So now the defense has brought a witness that they didn't know was going to help them or not. In fact, it hurts them, and now the DA gets to explore what he can extract out of this guy that helps his case. So, in my mind, this is a bad move. But if the defense thought it was true and thought they were lying, I guess they had to do it because they want to get it out there.
I had to figure out if my friend was alive. Even at the time, I had no answers. So I drove from Milwaukee to Kenosha to the first hospital. They were transferring him to a secondary hospital, which then he got flight lifted back to Milwaukee. So I basically drove down to Kenosha to drive back to see him in a freighter. But I wasn't able to see him until the following day, at least, I don't know, like 12 hours at least or plus after the incident happened. So
As you came down to Kenosha, you first went to KMH or freighter.
Oh, look, he put his little pink thing on today to be sensitive after he beat the shit out of jurors all day yesterday. Now he's trying to be sensitive. Oh, ain't that nice?
South looking for him. Is that right?
yes, it is.
And you got there a few minutes after he'd been moved to another hospital in Kenosha, is that right?
Yes, I don't know the exact second hospital. It's like St. Mary's or something along those lines, something like that.
And then when you went to that second hospital, you got there a few
Somebody called this team here Laurel and Hardy. I thought it was freaking hilarious because they kind of do look like Laurel and Hardy. But I digress. Let's get back to this.
minutes after the helicopter had flown him all the way back up to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I actually was watching him get loaded in.
So now we're getting more testimony about the poor victim getting life flighted and hospital around. And the defense called this witness to help their case. And in fact, it helped the prosecution more. That's what you call a bad move.
Into the Flight for Life. I kind of assumed it was him, and still I had no idea if he was going to make it. I didn't know the severity of things.
And so then you drove back up to Milwaukee to freighter there to try and see whether or not your roommate was alive.
Well, yeah, that was a goal, but like I said, I wasn't able to get a hold of anyone. He was obviously anonymous at the hospital. I was just trying to get answers for his mom and his family to make sure, I wasn't sure if my friend was...
So now we're going to make the guy look like a good, caring guy. He must be telling the truth, right? See how this can totally backfire on the defense that called him. Man.
Going to make it or not, so I was just, following him around trying to figure it out, but yeah.
You were worried, you were scared.
I've never been in that position in my life. It was very traumatic watching, my roommate, best friend get shot, and like I said, I thought he was dead from...
See, he's already made this guy a sympathy guy, when in fact he got online and lied, according to his testimony, on what his friend told him. And they've already got him looking like a good guy. He's helping his friend. He was worried about his mom. He was scared. If he had lied against the prosecution, oh my God, he would be the worst guy. We'd want to bring in his criminal history, etc. Wow.
The second of how everything played out. So, yeah, I was very scared, very worried about everything.
On top of being worried about his safety, you were also experiencing people putting his name on the internet, correct?
Yes.
And then all sorts of people who supported the defendant were making threats against him and you.
So now he's got that people that support the defendant are violent and making threats. I mean, this witness has done more for the prosecution than most of the prosecution witnesses already in this short amount of time. Man, he's got to come back and try to do some damage control.
You, correct?
Yes, I actually believe one of the guys I was sending threats was with the defendant that night. His name is like Dustin Collette or something. He was sending pictures of guns to us. That was just little things. Old addresses of ours got leaked out. I was in fear for my family and fear for my friends. Like it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, you were so scared. Here's where the defense should come back. You were so scared from all these people sending you things that you thought the best thing to do was to make up that he should have killed the guy, which would further inflame the people that were threatening you. Have I got that right? Is that what you're testifying here today? Your fear was so high because they were sending you threats that you thought saying that he should have killed him would have made those threats go away and made you feel better? Is that what you want me to believe? That would probably be my only question and cross and go, I'm done.
So this post where you're talking about emptying a magazine, was that your way of kind of trying to deter everybody from coming after
Your Honor, he's leading.
you by letting them know that you guys are armed and ready to defend yourselves?
That was 100% it. Gage has never said those words. I was trying to stick up for him more or less. That was, looking back, obviously not a good choice of words to say. I put in my emotions of, what I wish would have happened.
I think I would also ask him, have you ever talked to the defense or anybody from the defense or the police contact you before this trial? Because it almost seems like this guy is almost a set-up witness, and he's really helping the prosecution.
I guess you could say it that way that night, but those words never came out of my friend's mouth. When I seen him the next day at the hospital, I cried. I was like, I'm so glad you're alive. Kind of let him know, like, the severe...
Oh, he's crying. He's worried about his mom. He's such a good guy. He posted, my only regret, the guy told me, is he didn't empty the magazine and kill him. Man, he's really a nice guy. Yeah, that's going to get people to stop threatening you. Perfect. Man.
Of everything going on social media, it was pretty wild, so, yeah.
And it's fair to say that even after that, in the year, 14 months since then, you and Gage have continued to experience harassment online, things like that.
The second I got subpoenaed out of court on Monday, instantly was already getting hundreds of messages, friend requests from people I have no idea. It still goes on to this day. Like, it's insane.
Is your friend Gage the type of person who would take another life?
No, and that's...
Oh, my God. Objection. He can't testify what he will or wouldn't do and what he believes. Come on.
Clearly shows of...
The objection is sustained.
At least, God, good grief, dude. Somebody woke up.
Gage is a medic,
He is a medic.
a paramedic, and an EMT.
Yes.
Fair to say he's dedicated his life to preserving and healing other people.
Yes, he cares about the wellness and safeties of others.
Nothing further.
Man, like I said, I think I would ask one question, because remember, if he goes back and asks a bunch of questions, then the DA gets to come back with a bunch more questions. Now look, in a lot of this trial, because I was working for the prosecution almost my entire life, I mix up, and sometimes I'll call the defense, prosecution, and them. Look, people, I know who the freaking prosecutors are, okay? These guys are the prosecutors. These are the defense. I know who they are, and I don't need to read the comments. Man, you messed up. You called the defense and prosecution. If you don't know what I'm talking about and you're that stupid that you can't keep up, maybe you should go watch Sesame Street channel that's covering this and stop crying in the comments because I miscalled them a couple times. Anyway, I digress. Had to get that off my chest.
Mr. Marshall, you took this post down, did you not?
After getting all the harassment and stuff and instantly seeing that comment screenshot and knowing people are going to try to twist that right away, yeah, I took it down immediately.
And you knew from this post, can you bring up the post again?
You can't say what he knew. You can ask him.
You knew from the post, because the picture on the bottom shows Mr. Grosskreutz with a firearm, right? You see that?
I do.
Okay, so you out of anger or frustration, you knew that if you said that if his only regret was not killing the kid, you knew that would hurt him, right?
I did not at the time. Like I said, I was trying to stick up for my friend. It was a very hectic thing. I've never dealt with that situation like that. It was...
He's not asking it right. Explain to me how you thought that you were scared of getting threats from people, that you thought posting more violent action by your friend would somehow help you or him not get more threats. Help me understand that. That's the way he needs to ask it.
So
Bad word, bad judgment.
So your method of sticking up for your friend, who you know is possessing a firearm, is to lie about something he said.
Like I said, bad... I say, like I said, it's going to be bad. It was a bad judgment, bad call on my part of even wording something like that, and it was out of pure anger. That's really all I have.
I'd also ask him if he talked to this guy after he testified, because the witnesses aren't communicating. So if he talked to this guy and said, hey man, what did you say? He goes, I told him I didn't say it. And they communicated, that would be a huge error and it would lessen his credibility. Right now, his best chance is to discredit his own witness that he called to help his case that ended up helping the prosecution.
Any objection?
I have no objection to the exhibit, and I have no further questions.
You may step down, sir. Proceed.
Let's see where we're going next here.
Do you want me to go or what?
Oh, sorry. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning, sir.
And the judge has told you that you are still under oath. You
Yes.
understand that?
Yes.
And you do you recall testifying? The state had called you as a witness back on.
Hang on, I went too far. Who did they call him? This is the brother. Oh, they didn't swear him in again. Okay, so now this is a very tricky thing. Remember, this guy on the stand has an attorney. He's being advised by an attorney. They filed a $2.5 million lawsuit against the city for the damages. And he's got some insurance issues because he didn't have burn damage. So him and his brother both testified, we didn't know any of these guys. We didn't ask them to help. And the picture with me in the picture, I just showed up and saw him with guns and thought it would be cool to take a picture with him. And I never asked them to leave. I never asked them to get off. I never gave them access. I never told them, even though I had 2 employees that worked with me for 10 years and we've been friends, I didn't know what was going on. So that was his previous testimony. He's in a pickle right now because if he recants any of that, he lied before. So he can't really recant. He's got to stick to his story or he faces perjury charges. And he knows the DA is going to come after him. So this witness almost is like, we know what he's going to say. He's not going to get it's not going to be a Matlock Perry Mason moment to where it's like, I lied before and I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. That ain't going to happen. All right. Now I haven't seen it. Maybe it happened. I doubt it.
Do you want me to go or what?
Oh, sorry. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And the judge has told you that you are still under oath. You
Yes.
understand that?
Yes.
And you do you recall testifying? The state had
Like that matters. Like if I'm willing to lie on the first time I'm under oath, do you think it matters? I mean, you got to say that so you can charge perjury if he changes or if you find out later he lies about something. I get it, but it doesn't matter.
called you as a witness back on November 5th regarding this case.
I don't know the date, but yes.
Okay. And did you,
This guy, it didn't take 2 questions before he starts saying, I don't know already. This guy is the most evasive, lack of memory, confused, doesn't know the day of the week. I mean, this is one of the worst witnesses I think I've ever seen testify. I don't know if I call him a witness. I think I'd just call him somebody that came up there and sat on the stand and said, I don't know.
Do you remember that I was asking you some questions regarding vehicles, the number of vehicles that had been damaged, the amount of loss that your business had suffered, and information regarding insurance, things of that nature?
True, yes.
And do you recall and I've got a transcript, so I'll be happy to show you if you have questions about what you had said. Do you remember me asking you about I asked this question, can you give me a ballpark, meaning the amount of loss that your business suffered? And you had said that you couldn't remember. I asked you more than 100,000. You said yes. I said more than 250,000, and you said I do not know, sir. You remember that?
Yes.
You remember saying, being asked this question, and you don't know what the loss from those fires were. Your answer was, I personally never calculated it. My dad does the money part.
Yes, yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
That you didn't know at the time what the loss was?
Well, when we arrived on Monday, seeing all the destruction, all the cars, looking at the property, because a lot of oil has gone into the asphalt, the soil replacement and all that. So,
so he's increasing his insurance claim now. See, he's saying all this collateral damage for his insurance claim. I testified under oath that the oil leaked and when the cars burned and that ruined our asphalt. So now we need a new parking lot, which is another 50, 100, 200 grand. And now we need to get it painted. And he's going to get a whole new renovation out of this.
I mean, we were in shock.
My question to you is, as you sit here today, are you still under oath stating that you don't know and didn't know what the loss was?
Sorry, I cannot remember.
You can't remember if that's your statement today?
Could you repeat the question, please?
On November 5th, you agree that you testified under oath you did not know what the loss was from your business.
Well, I think we need to restructure that question. Restructure the question. Where's Sister Marcian's point of this word order is not acceptable.
Okay.
Okay.
You recall testifying last week?
Yes.
And you recall when you testified last week, you were asked if you were aware of the total amount of loss to your properties. You remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember you testified under oath that you didn't personally know what the loss was, that you never calculated it?
I personally didn't.
And is that your testimony today?
At the time, I didn't know what the exact loss was.
No, that's not the question. Answer the question he asked, please.
Sorry, please repeat the question.
So what this guy is doing is he's actually being a good witness that doesn't want to cooperate. This is what other people, when the DA starts to, are attacking you and badgering you and doing all that shit, all you have to do when you're on a witness stand, if you don't want to witness, I can't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember. Even if they show you something, I tell you about that crooked DA, Jeff Reisig. In his testimony, when we were in trial under oath, he said, I don't remember, I can't recall. I think it was like 36 times. And he testified for maybe an hour. And it was like, I don't know, I have no recollection. At one point, we showed him an email that he sent to me. I replied, and he replied back. And the judge, or my attorney asked him about it. He goes, I have no recollection. And he goes, would this refresh your recollection? The attorney, remember, he's a sitting DA. He read it. It still doesn't refresh my recollection. I have no recollection. It died. We couldn't go any further. I mean, even though it's obvious to anybody, dude, it's your email. You sent it. He answered. You replied. You don't remember doing this? No, I have no recollection. So so the judge ruled it was inconclusive. You didn't prove that he sent it, that he knew it, because he didn't admit to it. So that's how you lie legally on a stand and you don't get yourself in trouble. To prove that you remember something, unless you leave the courtroom and you get caught on tape saying, I remembered all that shit and I just said I didn't remember it. Now you might have issues. But if you just say, I don't remember, I can't recall, like this guy's doing, he's doing the perfect thing his lawyer wants him to do, to where they can't pin him down on anything. Because in the civil trial, when they start, didn't you testify to this and didn't you testify to that? He can say, I testified that I didn't remember. I didn't remember. Well, do you remember now? He's going to remember in the civil trial, because nobody charges perjury in civil trial, and he will lie about, oh, there was this, and now I remember. But see, you're allowed to do that, because the trial's over. It's not like you're going to go and change your story at the civil trial, and then they're going to retry this case and call you back. That doesn't happen. I mean, it could happen if there was an appeal, but it's not likely. So this witness is actually doing a good job, at being obstructive to the questions and saying, can you repeat? I'm not sure. I don't remember. At the time, what are you asking? Those are all coach questions to where you don't have to commit. They can't charge you with perjury because you're not saying anything. You're saying, I don't remember, I don't understand, I don't remember. And you can't put a memory on trial and charge a memory with perjury.
All right, is that your answer today, that you don't know what the loss was?
I do have approximation what the loss was.
And did you learn that from the last time you were in court till today?
Yes.
I wouldn't ask it that way. I would have asked, and when did you learn that? Because he might have said before the last trial, he may have gave a different date. He kind of walked him into the right answer.
Okay, what is it?
It was approximately $400,000.
Okay, I'm going to show you, you provided an interview the day after.
So there was an interview they put up there was $2.5 million. And I'm not really sure. I mean, I think where the defense is going right now is we've got to discredit this witness so the jury doesn't believe anything he says. So when he says he never gave my client a ride and he never gave anybody permission to be on his property, it hurts. It makes the militia, Kyle, those armed, mean people that were out there trying to protect the community, it makes them look like, or possibility, that they just showed up and took over the building for some reason. They had nothing else. There wasn't other buildings that burnt. For some reason, out of the blue, they decided to get on the roof of this one building and defend it for no reason. Because nobody asked them, nobody prompted. They just did it for no reason. I mean, what makes more sense?
This happened, is that right? And I'll show you, tell me if you're on the screen.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Look at that building. Oh, Rick. Kyle shouldn't have been scared. Let's see. One officer described the scene as a war zone. And then anytime Kyle did something, the DA was describing it as unrest. It was a peaceful protest. Unfreaking believable. Damn.
Now those are cars at your lot, right?
At that time, yes.
I don't know if I call them cars, but it's property on my lot.
Is that your brother?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. You go ahead.
and obviously this is definitely
If they're not the owners and they don't work there, why are they there? I mean, when they both testified, they were so non-committal about working and being part of this. Why are they now kind of, I mean, it just doesn't look. In my opinion, from what I saw, these two guys are lying out their ass and they asked them to be there and their civil attorney told them, do not admit that you asked them because we can be sued. If you didn't ask them and they can't prove that you asked them, they can't sue you because you can say they came without your permission, therefore you have no liability. That's why they're lying.
Is it intended to be witnessed?
Yes.
Well, I can't. Now, I got my sinus earplug, but can other people hear it? No, okay. I wouldn't think that would control this. I think it's going to be earlier in the system because it should be coming. I would think because it is, I thought, connected into the system here.
I don't know. It's all the way up on my computer.
Connected into the system here. I would think because it
Who thinks this is a donut smoothie? Never mind.
is, I thought, connected into the system here.
I don't know. It's all the way up on my computer. That's all.
Okay. Have you got ours all the way up? Is there any place where it's coming in clearly?
If we turn the mics off,
Licking of the lips, nervousness. He's got dry mouth right now. I talk about when somebody goes into fight or flight, they're using force. When they get in a shooting, like Kyle, etc., you get pale-faced. The reason you get pale is all your blood rushes from extremities, your fingers, you get tingling in your finger and toes. All the blood rushes to your large muscle groups. So you can either fight or you can run. And that's why you get pale-faced. That's why you get dry mouth. You lose saliva. Your digestive system shuts down, so your mouth stops producing saliva, and your mouth gets dry and you start. I talk about quite a few times to where the first lie detector back in the Chinese days is they used to put rice in your mouth. And when you testified, if the rice was still dry at the end of the testimony, they knew you were lying, because that means you weren't producing saliva. They didn't understand the dynamics of fight or flight in the system, but they knew that when the mouth gets dry, you're lying. He's licking his lips because his mouth is drying. Now, that can be a mild factor when somebody's nervous. Anytime you're nervous, you can get that. But it's not 100% indicative. Somebody come here, man, just because somebody got a dry mouth, he's lying. You can't, you're just, shut up, you freaking crybabies.
Is anyone getting it clearly?
Yeah.
We built this place up to ground up.
Yeah.
When we started this business back in 2018, we had about 5 to 7 cars. 7 cars.
I counted the first day we had only 7 cars.
7 cars.
Yeah. Do you feel like right now, with this, that you're still Kenosha bound? You're going to stay here in Kenosha and rebuild?
Probably not. Well, the thing is, if there's no government funding or if there's no help from anybody, because
If there's no government funding, isn't that funny? People come to this country and think the government should fund you and help you out. Wow.
there's nothing I can do. I mean,
You just said to him, if there's no government funding for this, there's nothing we're going to be able to do, right?
I must have. I don't remember.
I don't remember. See how he has been coached to absolutely, look, do not commit to anything. Everything you say, if and buts or coconuts, I'm not sure, maybe to the best of my recollection. Sometimes I don't remember. I kind of, if the video says, then I must have. That's so, I mean, it's just so blatant. Hopefully the jury sees that this guy's lying, but if there's some left-wing, bleeding heart, you and me, hug-a-tree idiot with a rainbow flag on the freaking jury, they're going to be like, oh, they're picking on the poor minority, and he's here, and he's got a business, and the government won't help him, and our country is so mean, and he's probably telling the truth, or he's just confused. See, that's how jurors get the reputation of being dumbasses.
Saying that.
You're not disputing you said it.
I must have.
Run a business, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of people, it takes a lot of effort. We have to get the capital first to reward it. We would have been at least so happy that, okay, we lost only 5 cars. 10, 15, okay, max 20, okay, 25.
How many cars are lost total?
In total?
Yeah.
In all 3 locations?
137. 137 cars. Yep. I heard that there was at least $1.5 million worth of gas.
That was the first 2.5 in total.
Wow.
Oh shit! This is a Matlock fucking Perry Mason moment. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that word. Holy shit! Are you serious? Didn't he just testify that he had no idea the damage between the last time he testified when he lied and this time? Oh, dude! You got spanked! Dude!
2.5 million in total. That's what you said to him the day after, right?
I must have.
Well, you heard it, right?
Yes.
So when you said 400,000 today, is that a lie?
It's not a lie. It's what it is when we, like I said, when we saw that from in our eyes, we were in shock.
Okay, so here comes the victim card. Wasn't me. I was worried. I was in shock. Just like the guy with the beard. Yeah, I was worried. I was getting threats. So I thought the best thing to do is to put out that he wanted to shoot and kill Kyle. I thought that was the best thing to stop the threats from the crazy gun people that was supporting Kyle. Makes no sense, and neither does this.
Okay.
To be able to how to come back from it, we were taking everything in consideration in terms of all the oil, the gas has gone into the asphalt, the DOR. So we're basically putting everything in the consideration to get back on track. That's.
Understand that, but I want you to answer my question. My question was, when you testified.
Okay, do you see his defensive stance? He knows he's lying, and he wants to let him finish, but he's holding back. I don't want to say, man, this is tough to keep my tongue. This is really tough. This is what, when somebody's lying in an interview, this is the behavior we see. And even though this guy isn't being interviewed, he's still giving the same body language that means the same thing. Man, I don't want to, oh man, I'm just holding back. I got to hold back. I'm hugging myself. I'm cradling. I'm going into this fetal position. Man, this is good body language for this.
Today under.
That's.
understand that, but I want you to answer my question. And my question was, when you testified today under oath that your loss was $400,000, you'd agree that's not what you said on the tape, right?
That is correct.
So when you testified today under oath, that's a lie, right?
It was a mistake
Today,
last time, but in the video.
the 2.5 million is the mistake.
Yes, because we were in shock.
So where'd you come up with that number?
Like I just explained to you, over the property loss, the building, the roof, the glass.
Okay, so he needs to jump back to, okay, if the 2.5 was a mistake, why didn't the first time you testify, when I asked you if you had any idea, why did you say no? You just admitted you estimated 2.5 million, it was a mistake. But then you got on the stand and said you didn't have any idea. Why? Why did you lie? Go back to that statement.
We didn't know. We looking at the condition of the lot. I mean, you can clearly see it. The asphalt, the soil contamination. There's DOR.
Man, he's got that statement down. That's the third time he said that. If you repeat a lie enough, people will think it's the truth.
Are involved. So that stuff is not cheap. So we were just approximating it. That's probably how much it's going to be for us to be back on track.
He asked you that he said that he heard it was $1 million or $1.5 million, right? And then you corrected him and said, no, it's 2.5.
Well, that's what I said, because the DOR and we knew we had to go through the permit to.
What's the DOR? Does anybody else not know? Am I the only dummy out here that doesn't know? Do you think that the juror might not know? Anytime somebody uses a term that you think the juror may be confused, get it clarified. You don't want the juror. There's people on the jury right now saying, I wonder what he means DOR. And they may miss a critical statement. Clear up what the hell a DOR is so the jury can get back to listening to him lying.
Again, and stuff like that. So I didn't have, it was just the number that was out there with me being in shock of the damages that has occurred to my dad's business.
You knew the specific number of cars, right?
I didn't remember on last week, but now yeah.
You remember when it happened. Why don't you use the same line that the prosecution has used 100 times? When you say your memory was better on the day of the incident or the day after than it is today, wouldn't you say that? Because that's what the prosecution has been saying for every time he tries to trip up a witness.
Now it says it.
And it's 137.
I cannot remember what it was in total.
Did you knew you were going to come to trial today? Did you think maybe I was going to ask you this and you could have researched? Did you do any research before trial about these questions? Now, the way you get around that is what you could do is set him up. And when you subpoena him, you can give him a list of questions or so. I think you can. I don't think that would be inappropriate. Here's what I'm planning on asking you. If you can bring any supporting documents or evidence that supports any of these questions, I would appreciate it. And you give him these questions. Then when you get him in court, you go, did you get that letter I gave you? Yeah. Did you get any evidence? No. Why not? I mean, I just don't. The attorneys don't have a cop. Cops learn how to investigate and deal with criminals, and I don't know if you want to call it manipulate the system, but work within the rules to get bad guys off the streets. Cops know how to do that. Now, a lot of people say cops just lie and cheat and they're all no good, but I don't believe that's true. There's plenty of those out there, but that's not everyone. So cops have a different mindset. I always say no one sees the world through cops' eyes except cops, because it's just the things we see and how we grow, what we have to defend ourselves against. It's totally different than an attorney who gets to be safe in a suit and tie in a room, never under threat, never having to defend himself, never has to get on the stand and testify and has to answer hard questions. They just get to play important roles in this injustice system. In the justice system that we have.
I don't have anything else. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. That was marked as 136 exhibit, and I would move that.
Objection. No. Proceed. Cross.
Of course he's going to cross. You weren't trying to lie. You didn't intentionally lie, did you? Of course not, because if I say that, I know your ass is going to charge me with your pink little freaking hanky.
Mr. Kindry, the video that we just saw, do you remember what day that was?
I honestly do not.
Do you remember what day all of those cars burned?
This video, it seems like that was early Monday morning. People said Sunday night the lot burned.
I'm waiting for the DA to say, was it during the unrest on the peaceful protest on the 24th?
But when we came to find out, it was Monday early morning, in between 12:30 2 o'clock.
Now, what the prosecution's doing now, the DA, is he's trying to put distance between the damaging lie that they just pointed out. And so now I'm going to ask him questions that he knows. I'm going to let him answer things that we know are true. I'm going to get him to admit in front of the jury some true statements so the jury will think he's a truthful witness or won't have this complete negative opinion of him like was left when the defense questioned him. So this is how you do this. That's why I say when people blame jurors for giving bad decisions, it's not the jurors. It's the system that doesn't want to get to the truth. If our jury system was great, there wouldn't be rules of evidence. There, everything would come in. You'd let the jury make a decision. There wouldn't be secret meetings. There wouldn't be this. The jury can't hear this. We can't hear this. We can't hear his criminal history. We got to. We wanted juries to make good, informed decisions, we would just give them everything and there wouldn't be all these rules to lie and manipulate the jury. And then we blame the jury when they come with a bad decision. It's bullshit. I've seen it. I lived it. I've worked in it 30 years. It's bullshit. And the reason, let me get this out because you may not understand the reason behind this. We're, in our country, allowed to have a jury of our peers to stop and prevent government from being able to attack and latch on and harass and pick somebody and ruin their life. So the jury is the check and balance of the government's power to ruin someone's life. So since the government has to have a jury, which they don't like, they'd rather not, they find ways to confuse and restrict information to the jury so the jury seems inept or stupid. Therefore, they don't get any blame, but they get to play all their games and get paid and have all these rules that no one else knows, and therefore they can justify their jobs, their positions, and our justice system. So there's a purpose on why they want the jury confused, because they have to have the jury and they don't like it. So if we have to have them, our second best option is to confuse them, withhold information, trick them, manipulate witnesses, manipulate evidence to where they can never make a good decision. Maybe in government's big theory and plan, in the future, maybe people will say, juries are so unreliable and it's so unfair that bad people are out killing people. It's all because of those jurors that are too stupid. We should do away with the jury requirement and allow the government and judges to make decisions. That's the goal, people. Mark it down, read it. It's going to come to pass in the future, whether I'm around or not.
I just want to make sure we're clear about what we're talking about, Mr.
Did I mention that I like his little pink hanky? What's he got, a little red pinky armband too now? Jesus Christ. Your Honor, I'd like to know if, for you take additional notice, does the Weasel prosecution have pink panties on?
We looked at this map when you testified on Friday, and the video we just saw is at this location, the car source on the northeast corner of 59th and Sheridan, correct?
That is correct.
And that is the lot that burned around 2 in the morning on Monday morning.
That is correct.
All of that damage had been done a couple days before.
Notice how busy this courtroom is? It's been empty most of the time. It looks pretty full right now. I think the word's gotten out that Kyle's going to take the stand. I didn't know he was going to take the stand until I read the comments this morning saying, oh my God, Kyle just broke down on the stand. And I went, holy shit, I can't believe they put him on a stand. These two guys are going to have a field day. This manipulating piece of shit is going to bring up everything that Kyle has ever said or done. They will be bringing up post pictures, Facebook. They are going to trash this kid so mercilessly. It is going to be a blood bath and slaughter of this kid when he's on. I'm just saying this. I haven't seen anything. I'm watching this just like you guys first time. Some of you guys may have watched it live.
For the shootings where Mr. Rittenhouse killed people on the night of Tuesday, August 25th.
That is correct.
And your interview there that we just watched is, what, maybe 6 or 8 hours after the cars had all burned?
Honestly, I don't remember what the time or the date was.
Well, that's a shocker. Holy shit. Who could have... Ray Charles saw that shit coming. Ray Charles over here. I see him saying he don't remember.
When that property burned, it wasn't just the cars. It was the building, too.
Exactly, yes.
There was records, computers,
yes,
business files inside that building,
yes,
that were destroyed or damaged.
Yes.
Did that make it hard for you or your family to figure out all of your business inventory, the property value, things like that?
Very hard, yes.
Is it fair to say that 6 or 8 hours after the incident, you didn't have a clear picture?
He's doing, I mean, I don't like the weasel, but he's doing a good job cleaning up this witness. He's saying everything that this witness could have said, but he's being coached and led by the prosecution. So the jury will say, oh, well, that's reasonable. Maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he was confused. See, he was confused. Those mean defense attorneys calling him a liar. That wasn't fair. That's what's happening, people.
Of the full value of your cars.
That is correct.
I have nothing further.
Boy, he remembered that. He knew that was correct. It's funny, he's got a great memory and great answers when the shit fits his narrative. But when he's asked hard questions, I don't remember what I had for breakfast. Well, I didn't ask you about that.
You didn't have a clear picture on November 5th either, did you? Of this year?
I did not.
Nothing else?
Okay, so he's smiling like he made a great point, but I think somebody on the jury could have missed that. What he should have said is, okay, so you didn't have a clear picture back when it first happened, but 4 days ago, when I put you on a stand, you had a clearer picture, didn't you? And you said you didn't know. And he says, I don't remember. That's how he should have ended it, with him lying again and pointing out the lie. In my opinion, again, I'm just giving mine. You guys can come here. Rick, you don't know shit. Yeah, whatever. Oh, shit. Did he just call Kyle?
I did not.
Nothing else?
Holy shit. All right, we're going to start a new video. This one, I'll end this one here as part 1 on day 7. Kyle's taking a stand. Holy shit. I can't. Dude, I just can't imagine the amount of pressure and stress on this kid. And these guys are just like, yeah, we're having fun. This is all great. This kid is testifying for his life. If you remember, when I covered Amber Geiger, the little blonde female, let me see, I can make this to where I'm talking now. When I covered Amber Geiger and the little blonde female that shot the guy, went in the wrong apartment, she was flirting with her boyfriend, and they made her out to be some killer hunting down a black man in his room smoking weed, and suddenly they're naming streets after this guy. I'm not even saying the guy did anything wrong. I'm just saying I think she made a horrible mistake and somebody died, and there was no malice in her heart when she did that. She got on a stand, and they could never have convicted her with murder because they couldn't prove that she intended to kill him. They put her on a stand and asked, isn't it true when you shot, you tried to kill him? And she went, I was just scared of my... And she gave this typical police shit. I was in fear of my life. I thought somebody was in my apartment, blah, blah, blah. And the DA was relentless on her. Isn't it true you tried to kill him? And like the 3rd or 4th time, she said, yes. And as soon as she said that, she checked the box for freaking murder, too. And she got her ass convicted because she got on a stand and she misspoke one word. Yes. And she was true. Now she's sitting in prison. That's the dangers of putting somebody on a stand. All right, we're going to end here and go to the next one.